We want to bring you up to speed on the very latest in the Johnny Depp case. That's a case we've been covering for you here on Law and Crime for the last 2 months. And the verdict obviously is more than a week old now. Johnny Depp it was a clean sweep for him. He won on every defamation claim against his ex-wife Amber Heard. Amber Heard, meanwhile, won on one of her claims against her ex-husband Johnny Depp, and that was one involving Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's personal lawyer. She had claimed that he launched a smear campaign against her by calling her abuse claims a hoax, and she won on one of her claims, but this case will be appealed, you can bet, more than likely on both sides. Amber Heard's lawyers have already said she plans to appeal. Well, Greg Ellis, he is a British actor who is a really good friend of Johnny Depp's, and he's been very supportive of Johnny Depp on Twitter throughout this whole ordeal, which started back in 2016. And Greg Ellis is very active on social media, YouTube, things like that, and he posted a video, and we want to show you a clip from this video in which he discusses the impact the verdict has had on his good friend, Johnny Depp. So let's listen and we'll talk about it on the other side.
The weight of the world was lifted off his shoulders when the verdict was announced. You know, it's put a smile back on his face. Johnny Depp has been through hell. He's been to hell and back for 6 years. You know, one of the most beloved movie stars of my generation, who is universally liked and admired within the Hollywood community. Someone who is a softly spoken, kind, generous, good-natured, sweet, gentle man and a very talented artist and beautiful soul, was vilified. And so he's gone from vilification to vindication. He was tried in the court of public opinion at the height of the Me Too movement. And, you know, now hopefully we're going to have a Men Too dialogue, not just a Me Too monologue. And as much as it was important to put people on public notice, like the Harvey Weinsteins of Hollywood, and bring them to justice, there were so many and too many men who were caught up in this movement that were found guilty until proven more guilty. And merely by an accusation doesn't make someone guilty. That's why we have jurisprudence and the presumption of innocence. So I think he's, you know, the positive for him is obviously on a personal level, but also all victims of false allegations, and also women and men who've been through violent situations themselves and been abused themselves. You know, Amber Heard was an affront to them. Those who make false allegations are an affront to the real victims of domestic violence. I think we need to put domestic violence needs to be tried in criminal court, not these quasi-kangaroo courts of family law that don't have due diligence and due process and a presumption of innocence. We need to put the burden of proof on the accuser, not the accused. As that's what criminals get. So why shouldn't families, parents, and spouses and ex-partners have the same? And, you know, Amber Heard's now been proven in a court of law that she maliciously defamed Johnny Depp. A jury of 7 people found that. They looked at all the evidence. It was clear, unequivocal. And, you know, she lied. It's clear the jury did not believe her lies.
Tracy, your thoughts on what Greg Ellis is saying there? He, I should mention, also wrote a book, and Johnny Depp wrote something in the book for this about this whole issue about Men Too and things like that. So your thoughts on Greg Ellis's comments there?
They're mixed. I'm profoundly offended by the allegation that only women can be abused. You know, I recently wrote an article about this, and I'm profoundly offended by it because there are non-binary people, there are transgendered people, there are people in same-sex relationships. So how do you decide who's the abuser in that one? And so for me, I have always found this to be a case about abuse has no gender. But when it comes to family courts do have due process, and I think that he's conflating issues. I think that there were major concerns about the way that this came about and the timing of this, which, although they talked about during the trial, they really could have driven it home that this was in response to, you know, a settlement offer that was rejected, and that the filings and how that laid out a little bit more clearly. But I agree with him that we need to be focused on evidence-based decision-making and not on indicting people in the court of public opinion.
Okay. Let's look now at another clip from Greg Ellis. You know, he was part of he was in some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies with Johnny Depp. So let's listen to a little bit of what he has to say about the future of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
So in terms of Johnny's career, I mean, look, he'll gradually, you know, I'm sure more offers will come in and he'll be selective about what those offers are. And in terms of Pirates of the Caribbean, look, there's only one Jack Sparrow and there's only one actor that can play Jack Sparrow. And, you know, if Disney attempts to replace Jack Sparrow, which it wouldn't surprise me, with an actress, with female, or Jack Sparrow's sister, or who knows what they'll do. I think the fans will not take kindly to not seeing Jack Sparrow. So, you know, I know Johnny said that he would never do, he won't do Pirate 6 and work with Disney again. And I do believe he means that. But I also know that minds can change down the line based on distance from certain events and certain people being in positions at certain companies, and money talks, and the fans would love to see him back. So, you know, for me, there is no Pirates of the Caribbean without Jack Sparrow.
Okay, so I'm really excited to listen to that. And, you know, Dr. De La Torre, Johnny Depp said, you know, he wouldn't work with Disney again on another Pirates movie if they gave him $300 million and more than a million alpacas. I guess they'd have to give him more than 1 million alpacas. I don't know. But is Greg Ellis right there? Can minds change? Could Johnny Depp possibly say, you know what, I actually do want to do the Pirates 6 now because it's for the fans, and maybe 1,000,001 alpacas? I don't know. But all kidding aside, what do you make of that, Dr. De La Torre? Do you think Johnny Depp could change his mind?
Yes, he's absolutely going to change his mind, and he is going to say it's for the fans because the fans love me, and I want all the attention that I can get from the fans. And people are just going to slurp it up. There's a hidden there's what I sense from some of his comments is this idea of some sort of covert misogyny that's there, that people wouldn't watch a female-led Pirates of the Caribbean movies. What evidence does he have of that? To me, I think it's just I'm defending my friend, and I'm going to say everything that my friend wants me to say, and I'm just going to hide it under the guise of being taking the higher ground and not just accusing people. So it's complicated. It's more complicated than that.
I think only they're bringing up the female part, though, Dr. De La Torre, because there had been some mention in the trial, and I just want to be clear for the viewers that Disney was apparently looking at doing something with Margot Robbie in the next Pirates film. So I think that's the only reason he brought up, like, whether or not they might do something with a woman. That's my thought.
Right, but there hasn't been. But there hasn't been a Pirates movie with a woman.
I'm sorry.
There hasn't been a Pirates movie that has been led with a woman. So we don't know how well it would do.
There is no Jack Sparrow
we don't.
without a, yeah.